Toastmaster, fellow members, honored guests, thank you. I had to think really hard to decide how I was going to tackle this topic, as you can probably tell by the joking title I put to my speech. I thought that I could maybe tell you how I thought others saw me, but that might not be very accurate. And I thought that maybe I could tell you a little bit about my history, except I tend to run long with stories and I'm supposed to keep it to 4 to 6 minutes, so I didn't think that would work very well either. So what I finally decided I would do would be to tell you a little bit about some of the things that I do. For instance, some of them are very simple, like one of the things I do is kindness. I always try to help other people when I can, whether it's by an uplifting word or giving them a hand. For instance, I was in Bojangles the other day, and I saw this little tiny older woman starting to move around some tables, and I realized I recognized her. And her group usually takes 3 or 4 of those tables and puts them together so they can all sit together. So I left my food and I went and I helped her move the tables together. And when I was done, I went back and finished my meal. My office where I used to work always was a very busy office. And that's partly because it was a very busy office, but it's partly because my coworkers knew that I didn't mind helping them if they needed help. They would come to me and they would ask me to help them with different computer issues or to help them figure out the best way to solve a problem. And I enjoyed doing that. I'm always glad to help them. So another thing that I do is I tend to overthink details, if you couldn't tell by the title of my speech. That's not necessarily a good thing either. For instance, I love Christmas. I hate Christmas until I've got everybody's presents because I worry so much about getting exactly the right present for everybody and making sure it conveys the meaning that I'm intending it to convey. With my current job, I always think really hard. I probably spend too long deciding what investments to offer to different clients because I want to be absolutely certain that it's going to be the best investment to help them reach their goals. I tried to turn this in a positive direction by learning to crochet. If anybody knows what crochet is, it's very picky little detail work. I figured at the very least I could create gifts for people while I'm overthinking the details of what I'm doing. Something else that I do is I learn and I teach. That's part of what led me here. When I was in college, I ended up taking a job with my department so that I could teach problem sessions and also tutor people because I enjoy it that much. A few years ago, I decided that it was time for me to take my health a little more seriously. And I know that a lot of people, when they decide that, they go and they join websites and they learn what they should eat and what they should do to exercise. And not me. I joined probably half a dozen different websites and I started researching. Had to know every little bit of it. And next thing I knew, I had actually learned quite a bit about not only about fitness and nutrition, but also about the hows and whys of fitness and nutrition and the science behind it. And then I discovered there were message boards on one of those websites. And next thing you know, I'm teaching other people some of the things that I learned and also counseling them on their personal finances as well. Funny how things happen. In fact, that's part of what led me to my current job. It gives me a really good opportunity to help people learn about something very important to them, which is their finances. Finally, I mom. I know a lot of people do this, and I'm particularly bad about it. But I don't just mom my children. I mom my friends and my coworkers and my husband and pretty much anybody else who gets too close to me as well. I try to be sure that I don't give too much unsolicited advice. Drive home, you be careful driving home, it's really stormy outside. Or, you really ought to drink lots of water if you're coughing that hard, it'll keep you hydrated. Or, calling people when I'm worried about them. I expect that my children get a little tired of me because I try to teach them, I try to teach them as best I can. And another thing I do when I mom people is I have a tendency to feed them sometimes. If you come to my house, just expect to eat. It's something you've got to do at my house, you have to eat. And then you probably have to eat some more as well. I'm not the person to ask if you don't want to know the truth about something. Like a lot of moms, I'm likely to tell you exactly. I'll try to be nice about it. But for instance, if you have food in your teeth, I'm likely to tell you. And I do try to keep it light with that. You know, I try to use a sense of humor and don't hurt anybody's feelings, but it's something I do. So I hope that this has told you a little bit about me. I had some difficulty putting it together, so I hope it made sense. I did realize when I was writing this speech that one of the few regrets I have so far about Toastmasters is that I didn't get to hear everybody else's icebreaker speeches. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know everybody better as I learn here. And I want to thank you all for your kindness so far to me and how open you've been. Thank you.